Move on to our presentation. Ed, if you would.
Yeah, okay. I think it was last month, we had that question and answer
Yes.
period, and I mentioned EchoLink and a little bit about it, not very much. But I had some other questions, give you a good idea of what EchoLink is all about. And we'll start with this. What does EchoLink do? And we'll go into how can a ham use EchoLink, and then finally how EchoLink is implemented on the SPARC repeater. So basically with EchoLink, how the link came about, or how our link came about, how we did it here, was I proposed EchoLink to connect to one of our repeaters, and what was basically given to me was the 220 machine. So I had on the 220 machine for a while, and it worked out pretty well. And then finally we decided, hey, let's put it on the 2-meter machine. There was some question early on because not many people knew what it was, and they were afraid I was going to bring a whole bunch of equipment up to the repeater site and connect it to the radios and everything. But this implementation I did is really clean and easy and doesn't impact the repeater at all. So after a bit of trial and error, I put together a setup that worked, and I had it working on 220, and we eventually moved it over. It runs 24/7. It's running on batteries powered by solar panels. So what is EchoLink? Well, EchoLink was created to connect two hams together using their computers or cell phone, and with a speaker and mic connected to each one. That's what it was for. When you get on EchoLink, though, you can connect to many, many, many different stations throughout the world. And since some of them are connected to repeaters, the EchoLink people said, we got to verify that you're a ham radio operator and you have a license. So that's the big thing about it. You can download the free software for your computer. You can download it for your cell phone. And you can get on wherever you are in the world as long as you've got an internet connection. The software basically looks like this on your screen, and we'll get into some of these windows, but the one that comes up first is, it basically tells you how to get the software started. Certain information you have to put in, but it's not a lot, you'll see. They ask you to basically follow through using the next button, and you can put in your information. Now, to verify your license, they want you to send a copy of your license to them, which we do, and I've done, and it only takes a couple of days for them to verify that you're a real ham. And then their server will allow you to use the software. So that's what it comes down to. The biggest problem is, how do you get a hard copy of your license, or a digital copy? Well, you can do that on the FCC website, of course, on where you get information about your license through CORS and whatever it is.
ULS.
Yeah, ULS, that's it. Now, anybody can go in and get a reference copy of anybody's license, but you need an official copy. And that's the one you would get with your account there, and you'd put in you have to create an account and have to put in your password and everything to get it. So that's the only person that can get the official copy is you who created the account. And that's what they want. I sent them a digital copy. That's all you need to do by email, and you're done. So you can set up the software then, and there's two ways to set it up. One is a computer user. I've got it running on my computer, or I'm going to be a sysop, which is the case that I've put together where I operate it for a lot of people using. And you click the one you want. If you're doing it for yourself, you just say computer user, and you're good. You put in a little bit of information. You got to create a password for this software as well. And after that, you can set it up. And there's several of these tabs that you'll want to set up, but really they're just about all default, and you don't have to change much. Here again, you put in sysop. You put in your call sign. Now this is the call sign of that I use for EchoLink, and it's -L. That's what they prefer. L meaning a link. If I had the equipment at the repeater, I would use the repeater call sign -R. But since it's a private link, that's all I do is put in the NZ1Q-L. And then put in a little bit of information, user and location and email, and you're pretty much done with that. So they give you ability to test your firewall. If you're in your house and you have your modem and router, you want to be able to make sure it works. I find it works in a default mode without any other changes to the firewall and the router. But since my installation at home is using my router in the default manner, if I want to use my cell phone in the house to connect to EchoLink, that's where I had to set up different ports for it to get out so they don't interfere. We got both things right. And it says setup's complete.
Wi-Fi off.
Oh, I meant to say, yeah, anybody has a question during this, just
You
raise
can-
your hand.
You can turn your phone's Wi-Fi off and then work EchoLink from within your own home, I think.
Say again, you turn,
If you turn your phone's Wi-Fi, you just can't have the phone and the
Right, they won't
node
work
of the
together.
same.
Right.
But if your phone's off of Wi-Fi.
that's correct, yeah.
Right.
Since I run this system all the time, I leave it running, so that's why I have it set up. So basically, you're finished setting up the software, and you've got your license verified, and you can go ahead and do it. Now, these windows on the software that you load on your computer, basically they say on the left side here, look, oh, I can't use this on the TV, right? Oh well, it gives you a bunch of selections, and the place you want to start is really over on the right side, and you might click on North America, and this will give you the list of all the stations that you can connect to. Okay. So if you take a look at North America, which I've done here, North America, I've gone down to United States, I've gone down to Region 1 for my call sign, just to show you what an example is like. Then you can scroll this list of everybody in Region 1, and here's our link, NZ1Q-L. So, and you can work any of these people. Some of them are repeaters, a lot of them are just individual people. So you can find them and you can actually connect to them if you want to. There's also a CQ function on this, and you can just call CQ and other people see you pop up and they can connect to you. So it's good for hams. If I get to the point where I sell my house and I can't have a station because I'm, in long-term care or something like that, I can still take out my cell phone and connect the hams. I figure out how to use it that way. So this is what I showed you before. 2 computers connected. The internet here is really their server. It's the EchoLink server in between. So you're talking to the server, the other guy's talking to the server. And like I said, it could be a PC or it could be a cell phone. Well, what happens when you want to link this to a radio? In other words, you want to have a radio here. The way I set it up was have a radio here on the SPARC frequency. So that's what I've done. You take a USB interface and you connect it basically to the other equipment. Well, what other equipment is there? Well, you're going to connect it to an adapter, and I find for running EchoLink as we have it on the repeater, I like a bigger adapter. They make some small ones. I use the a Rig Blaster Advantage. This is a little older one, I think. But these work really well, especially when you have people using it and you want the timing from their disconnect to the repeater coming back. It works much better than the little boxes. So that's the piece of equipment that USB port will talk to. And the way it works is I have it set up like this. So I have that computer, I have the box with USB. These Rig Blaster Advantage, they have cables that will plug into your rig. So it makes it very easy. 12-volt power to the rig. You can use any kind of rig you want. I usually use the mobile rigs with 1 or 2 channels on them, so it works out pretty well. And I just tune it to, just like you would, the SPARC frequency, 147.060 with the right offset. And I used to run the station on this little tablet. I used to run this whole thing on a little tablet, and it worked well, but this is kind of, I don't know, it's not as good as a computer. So I got a notebook computer. Actually, I've got two now, one running and one waiting in the wings and brakes. But I've got the old notebook computers. You don't need much in the way of processing power. These computers, the old ones I have are running Windows 7 or something, and they'll work. It works great. So it doesn't cost a lot. People donated some of the equipment. That radio, I think Billy donated that one. And this other Rig Blaster Advantage, or this was Pro, this was on our table one day. So I have it also waiting.
Sweet.
I have it waiting in case the other one breaks or something. The only problem is with all the knobs and switches, my station engineer, a squeaky cat, he'll walk around and he'll hit the switches of buttons, and sometimes people say, oh, it's not working today or whatever, but we get it back on. So this little radio will talk to the repeater, and just like any other station. And I think if you were here last week, you heard me connect, right? So let's see if we can connect again right here. I just called the software, EchoLink. It comes up on the phone like this. It's connecting to the server right now. Do I have a signal? Yeah, I got a 5G signal here. No relay service responded. Oh, that's interesting. It worked last time. I'm gonna reload this software, see if that works. Logging in, there we go. Okay, so we're logged in to their server. I'll go to my favorites. I'll select NZ1Q, and you will, you'll hear it connect. Just to connect. Connecting.
Welcome to the NZ1Q link. Connected to the SPARC 2-meter repeater, W84AKH in St. Pete, Florida.
So now you're connected, you got a transmit button and an exit button to kill the whole program. And there's another station logged in. You see yourself logged in, and another station logged in. This fella, KQ4UWF, was helping out with some traffic because of the floods. And a fella in California, his dad was down on Treasure Island, so he was passing information to him. But anyway, if I hit transmit, NZ1Q, November Zulu 1 Quebec, testing EchoLink on SPARC 2 meters. You touch it again, it turns off the mic, and you'll wait for anybody to respond. So that's all it is. You hit end and you're out. Done. Other questions?
Question,
Yeah.
how flexible or is this system? So I've seen it operate on 2 meters. Is it strictly for a channelized situation, or can a person use this for HF, where they can go up and down the band and search for people or something like that?
Not really, no, it won't control a radio in that sense. There's all those other software programs that do that, you know, have.
So this is a channelized type of
Yeah,
setup? Okay.
yeah, it is, with a dedicated link to whatever one frequency.
If you had another way to control the VFO, that would work. You
Well-
could use this for the audio.
Yeah,
I have an observation. I have used the iPhone EchoLink app. The transmit button will not show up if the repeater is talking.
that's right.
And once the repeater drops, the transmit button shows up, and then you can do what you just did.
Exactly.
But at the end of your transmission, there's also a delay.
Yes,
So if somebody acknowledges you while you're still switching audio, you won't hear it.
that's true. So people have to be a little sensitive
Yes.
to
Yes.
the person using EchoLink, and that's why whenever I get on EchoLink to our repeater, I always usually end by saying NZ1Q on EchoLink, so people know it's gonna be, you know, maybe a second and a half until I get received back through the repeater. At home, what I do is I actually have this layout done a little. I've added something, well, it's an addition, here it is. That radio on top is my standard 2-meter 440 radio I use for all my 2-meter communications to the repeater and other repeaters. Now, so I've got 2 antennas at home. One that's dedicated to the EchoLink setup, and the other one for my other radio that I use. And I did have a little problem in the beginning where they were interfering with each other. I was getting some descents on the input of the other radio. It was giving me a problem. So my usual 2-meter rig I have on a big vertical antenna. It's the Diamond X500. And then to solve the problem, I tried several things, but the EchoLink antenna, I switched to a 5-element vertically polarized beam focused at the repeater site, and it's in the attic, so I keep it online all the time. When I disconnect all my other outside antennas, this one stays online. So that's worked out very well. Other questions? Mike?
I just want to make the comment that what you show here is only for you as the sysop. No, you don't need this setup to use EchoLink. You either need your phone or your computer.
That's correct.
None of the rest of this stuff.
Yeah, you don't need any of this, just your computer if you're gonna be an individual talking to other individuals on EchoLink. It goes back to that first slide I showed where we had the 2 computers, microphone and speaker on either end, it goes through their server.
Okay, so if I'm out of state in a travel trailer, and I wanna tie to our repeater here, okay? The radio doesn't do any good. It would be the computer running the EchoLink software
Right.
directly to an internet connection.
Right, cell phone,
And in
whatever,
the
yeah.
list of available,
Yeah, look for my call sign,
okay,
and just click on that, or double click on it, and it'll connect you, yeah.
There's an app on your phone. You can use.
yeah, interesting.
I've done it from cruise ships, on the road, traveling on the interstate, whatever. Yeah, Mike.
I just gave my wife a big thrill years and years ago. We were sitting in the car and we connected by the cell phone. We were talking to people in Australia. So it's, you need some spare time to do some other things. Talk to somebody.
We've had, people, you may have heard, we've had people check in from England and Germany,
Stefan.
and,
Tom from England.
yeah, some
Do you need to use the slash country codes when you're using a different country?
no, I don't believe so, because you're all on the internet at that point,
Yeah.
so.
You're broadcasting in
Yeah.
their countries.
Well,
call sign.
not really, it's your cell phone that's receiving, like any other, it's like sending a text message, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
send it to somebody, but,
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anybody ever
I
questioning
did it
that.
from, I was in Vatican City, and it's, at that point, it's just internet, so you're not transmitting the radios, there's no reason to put your.
I mean, if you connect, like he said, he connected to Australia.
If it goes out to a repeater.
From
then
his
it's-
phone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, my radio identifies, you hear the CW, and sometimes it does that 10-minute IP.
That's the control operator.
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned Windows software there is able to install out an application, or is it just Windows?
This, I believe, is just Windows.
It works on an M1 Mac too. I have an M1 Mac and it
Well,
works
does.
fine.
So it does have a
Okay.
Mac version installed?
At least the Mac Silicon. I'm not sure about the older.
No, okay.
Probably
Well, that's
because
on the
those were
iPhone,
based on
It's not a
x86.
It works on an
I think it's a
iPhone.
Linux.
Yeah, we have the.
It doesn't have exactly the same name, but it's the same.
Just curious, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, another question, Alex?
Yeah, do you still have the whitelist on the, on your EchoLink node? Cause I remember
Oh,
when
no, I took it off.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
cause I remember, I think it was
Yes.
like in 2020 when
Yeah,
I
yeah.
first tried to use it, I had to
Right.
contact you and get added to the whitelist.
Yeah, the club requested that I put that restriction on, that I would give people the ability to connect by using a whitelist of known hams that we would allow. So I used to put everybody on it, but then he
Retired
said,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
I think as long as somebody doesn't abuse, as long as you don't have some,
Yeah, right.
jerkwad out there that's.
Yeah,
If
well,
anyone's abusing EchoLink, we'll email you about it.
yeah,
You
and
get people that'll take your try to hook you to an all-star system or something through it and hijack it.
yeah, and I do have control of that computer with my cell phone using
ENC.
Team viewer, something like
Yeah,
that.
team viewer.
Or I use Google Remote Desktop.
Yeah,
Another one.
yeah, you could do it different ways. I've always used team viewer, so I'm familiar with that.
As long as you're able to get in and
Yeah.
turn it off, if you
Right.
have to.
Right. Yeah.
The Mac version of EchoLink is Echo Ham.
Okay.
It's an unofficial version on their website, it says, but it works, it says.
Anything else?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, sorry.
Quick question. What I find myself doing is when I'm talking with stations on EchoLink, I find myself very quick to key up. Is there a minimum amount of time that you have to allow between unkeying your mic? Let's say I'm on my radio, unkeying before I try to key back up again to move on. Let's say I'm doing my net, for instance. What's the minimum time that I have to leave when I ask for EchoLink check-ins?
They're all different.
Oh, you gotta wait for the carrier to drop, like we were talking about before, because they can't hit their transmit button, it's grayed out until the carrier drops.
Okay.
So you gotta wait for it to drop, then you gotta wait for them to find the button and press it, and, you know, it's gotta go through the internet and all the servers and everything.
Yep.
So you gotta
2 to
wait a
3
little bit of
seconds.
time.
So like 3,
Yes.
4 seconds? give or
Well,
take?
that would be good, but some people wait actually 15 seconds in case
15
somebody's got
seconds? Okay.
trouble keying it up and whatever, you know. So,
Okay, so,
Yeah.
15.
and sometimes there's 2 people on,
Say be
EchoLink.
patient.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good if you, yeah.
It's
That
almost
is-
like, it's just almost like that NI4CE, because they have that, because they're all linked together, it's usually is about 2 seconds, give or take.
Yeah.
When I was playing around.
Yeah,
with
but EchoLink's longer, because you have to wait for the carrier, the repeater carrier to drop.
Yeah, that's the important thing, the repeater carrier has to drop, and then you gotta give them a little time to, you know, make the connection, because sometimes, new people aren't sure, oh, which key, oh, that one over there. It takes them a few seconds.
Or like general rule of thumb, if you're on the EchoLink side and you're trying to connect to a repeater, it's usually, once you find the transmit button, then you just take a deep breath. And that's usually long enough for everything to wind up, and then,
Yeah.
say your piece, and then drop out, and then you wait.
If I'm at my house monitoring our repeater, my regular radio, and I get on my phone and I connect and I can hear myself, right? And you can hear the delay. The delay is around probably 500 milliseconds or something like that.
Sounds about right.
Anything else? Otherwise, hey, I hope we learned something. Please use it if you want to, you know, just give it a shot. All right.
All right, thank you very much.